And we are live today. Thank you for coming, you beautiful souls. Hi, I'm Ca'rynaCarj'an. My beautiful co-pilot is Colleen, and our very special guest today is Steve Mcann, a pathwalker. Okay, so people are used to Pathfinder. But what is a path walker? And
That's
what
a good.
goes along with that? So,
That's
Steve,
sorry.
we're going to
Yes.
have you answer that quick little question for the audience so they get to know you a little better. And very much welcome. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Um, Path walker to me is I walk with people on their spiritual path as well as the healing path. I'm an energetic healer. I studied a lot of stuff with spirituality, and I basically help people find their path if they're lost, not lost, but if they're questioning what to do, they don't fit in the traditional models. I help them find what works for their soul.
Oh, I love it. What works for their soul. Speaking of souls, we have a new blessed soul that just came to Mother Earth, your beautiful grandchild.
Last
Just,
Thursday morning.
and do we want to reveal the name or not?
Yeah, his name is Scott Arthur Clares. Scotty, for short. We call him Scotty.
And we just, to have a brand new life, bless this planet, is really a very sacred event, even though humans can give birth. Um, and we take it lightly. It's not something that should be taken lightly. And something that I do hear people say often when a child is born, that, well, we can finally do it right. Don't you hear people say that often?
Yeah. Yeah.
But here's the truth, is that whatever we have done, good, bad, or indifferent, regrets or no regrets, that's who we are now. We're the whole beautiful combination. So we now can stand and hold space for others. And quite frankly, if we don't like where we are yet, then change it. Or as in Bob Newhart on his little video says, stop it. Stop doing it and change it. Would you not agree?
Yes. Yes. Very true. Very true. You have to have the levity involved with it as well, I think. So,
Yes. And as we learn more and more, what seems to be bad in our lives actually sets us up for something even better. So the universe is working with us, even though we may feel it's working against us when we have doors closed on us. So for any brand new life that comes onto this gorgeous planet, and for the mothers and the parents, what new blessed words would you give them?
oh, that is interesting. Encouragement, I guess, is the one word I would give is encouragement. It wasn't so much that I had the feeling that I could do it better. It's just having the birth of my daughters, holding them in my arms, I should say. It made me want to be a better person.
Mhm.
And with my grandson's birth, I still feel the same way. I want to be a better person. I want to make the world a better place for their continual enjoyment. That's the word of wisdom I have at the moment.
There you go. Well, and it's very true. It's very true. So this brings us over to inspiration and being uplifted, does it not?
Yes.
And everybody has different perspectives of what is inspiration to them. And we like to take the mystique out of inspiration because you don't have to go off somewhere to try and find something. In fact, it's just the opposite. But we can be inspired by other people's acts as well, which for me, one thing I absolutely love, America's Got Talent is back on. And oh, these people inspire me regardless if they're a good actor or not. They have the courage to step out and be in front of these people. And a lot of the people that have this amazing talent who just don't feel themselves worthy enough and they get on nervous, and to see them open up and blossom. I mean, when I've had a rough tech day with the technology, which is not my field, um, that's one of my go-tos, of course, other than nature, but that is one of my go-tos in the middle of the night.
Okay.
So, Steve, what is inspiration to you?
Wow. I guess I said it a moment ago. It's basically whatever inspires me, use the word part of the word, to be a better person and to make the world a better place. It could be as simple as a smile to somebody because you never know what their day is really like. So a smile may lighten up somebody and make their bright day brighter. And to me, that's inspirational.
Oh, very good. And yes, it most certainly is, because if somebody's having a really downtrodden day and things have been going really badly, and all of a sudden somebody smiles at them, that's
Hmm.
bringing a light and love to that person that they can feel instantly. Even if, at first, ooh, what does this stranger want? But usually that goes away real fast, and then they receive that and it switches everything around for them.
I've
So
experienced it
with
on both sides. Sorry, I cut you off.
yeah, no, 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 no is actually right, because like as we say in Reiki, you give a session, get a session.
Yep.
It's an energy exchange and it's very powerful.
Hmm.
So I love that because smiles don't cost anything. Kindness doesn't cost anything. And
Agreed.
yet we seem to be lacking a lot of it lately
Unfortunately, true.
around the entire world.
Hmm.
So the more that we can come on and help and inspire people, we're hoping to give a beautiful uplift for more smiles, not judgment. When you see somebody being a little harsh, you'll be amazed how quick you melt somebody just by smiling at them.
Yes.
And that is an act of kindness. It really is.
Hmm.
So, of course, we love for our beautiful guests to turn around and share an inspirational story, whether it's personal, whether it's from the family itself, or whether it's some form of client, just something that right now, even though you probably had something planned a little differently, Spirit's going to come and give you something to share with us because there's somebody out there that needs to hear it.
Yeah. Well, what comes to mind for me, it starts off dark. I apologize for that in advance. The reason I say that is about 20 years ago, I was going to do something very, very selfish and very unwise in my life. I went to kiss my oldest daughter goodbye, the one who just had the grandson, and I broke down. I could not hurt my daughters that way. They gave me the inspiration to continue on, regardless of how I was feeling at that moment. They gave me the inspiration to continue moving on forward and try to become a better person. And I love them, not just for that, but I just love them, period. And I couldn't hurt them that way. And in the process, I've learned to love myself and not hurt myself in a similar fashion. So that's where the inspiration has come from. And, and now I've got the grandson, I can do it as well. And I don't have to worry about the midnight feedings and stuff. So,
Lucky you.
lucky me, exactly. But I can continue that tradition. I can continue that hope that to inspire, like we said earlier, that kindness in the world. My daughter's the birth of both my daughters, sorry, was very much an inspiration for me to be a better person. I stopped speeding. I stopped doing other things that weren't healthy, wasn't the wisest choice, and trying to live a better life.
Yeah, well, it is true. Oftentimes it's easier to first do the right thing for somebody else first. But then it is important to remember we then have to, at some point, apply it to ourselves.
Agreed.
because otherwise the energy is still distorted,
Hmm.
and we're telling ourselves still that old story for many reasons, which we're not going to go into here
Right,
today.
right, right.
But keep coming back, and you're going to hear more about this a little later in a few months. But it's a thing about understanding that we are really worthy of more than what we give ourselves. And if we want our child, specifically our child, right? Also, of course, our clients and our partners, we want them to feel more worth because we see it, we know it, we feel it. We have to embody that first and foremost.
Hmm.
So as we start to, okay, it's easy over there because in part, we kind of fear what we think is underneath the hood, but we really don't know what necessarily it is and what it means. So best stay away and I'll just focus over here. Except that keeps our energy field still distorted. So,
Hmm.
but it's steps. It's all a process. Life is a process. There is no right, wrong, or indifferent. There is no time clock set on this at all.
Right.
Everybody needs to go on their own pace, which means there's no judgment on yourself for it. And that also, too, is a little hard to kind of shift sometimes. But we get that.
I agree. Actually, what came to mind when you describing that is like they were a mirror for me to see the positive of myself. A lot of people refer to the negatives when they talk about using someone else as a mirror, but I see it as both. Light, shadow, dark, whatever you want to call it. We have to embrace all of it of ourselves to be whole.
Exactly. And that's another thing. When people are talking about shadow or the dark side of the human equation, most people think it's something to be negative about. But yet, when embraced properly, it can be an amazing strength. Anger is there as an emotion that can empower us or destroy us.
All how you choose to act on it.
Exactly. And we act on it based on our perceptions of it.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So I've got this question, and I didn't tell you ahead of time I was going to ask this question, but
Okay.
that's okay. Um, what inspired you, or led you, or guided you to be a path walker?
Hmm. Good question. I love that one. Thank you for not telling me ahead of time because now spirit will come up as it's supposed
Yeah.
to. um, I'll be honest, I was a militant atheist, didn't believe in past life or energy and all that type of stuff up until about 2000. I was having bad marriage, bad career. Did a heartfelt prayer, and that night a Native American man appeared in my dreams, showing me some things like four horses running each in a certain color in a certain direction in a plains. And at any rate, he stuck with me. That was Monday night. He stuck with me until Friday. I would see him in my dreams. I'd see him in my waking consciousness. And I was getting to a point where I was getting very angry internally. Like, what do you want? Why are you here? And one of my friends at that time, a coworker, was very metaphysical, and she said something to me that made me change my approach. I went, "How can I help you?" And at that, he smiled and then gave me a bunch of gifts, and that's what started me down this path. I'm also like a certified hypnotherapist or Reiki master. That all became because I was having a medical problem with cough syncope where I coughed so hard I'd faint. And the doctors couldn't figure out why. And I almost dropped my youngest daughter at the time, she was 9 months, almost dropped her down the stairs when
Oh,
this because of a bout. And I did end up in a ditch one time with a car because of it. Any rate,
oh
doctors couldn't
my.
figure it out. I worked with a hypnotherapist he was actually a healing touch practitioner, but an energy healer. And we found a memory of somebody trying to choke me in my sleep when I was a teenager. And we worked through that memory. And I haven't had an incidence of the cough syncope yet. So I was so impressed by the power of the mind, and then in this case, we'll call it the spirit as well, over the body, that I went and pursued this path and have slowly gained other modalities as I've gone. But my drive, what drive is again, it's like, how can I help? That simple question changed my life.
Well, that is extremely powerful. And it is true because the first thing when somebody comes to knocking, it's like, what do you want? Especially when we're in a bad place and then they don't go away.
Yep.
They're persistent. And so the more that we just tell them to go away, the more they just take a stand of they're right there, no matter what, until we get it.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's why they came. So, when we think about that, right? They're also showing us how to work with people. Because when people are in a very bad place, some are ready for us working with energy. Um, Not the majority, I will say. But with all the billions of people out there, trust me, there are more than enough people that want to understand and accept real more of the path of the connection and the energy and the self and the divine. But we do get resistance at times. And we get thrown at us what you threw at that spirit guide until something shifted because spirit saw beyond that and saw that you were ready. And that's part of me being a dream seer.
Okay.
This is how I actually see potentially. And I speak to the different selves of the being. We have a surface base, we have a way back there a potential, but then we
Mm-hmm.
have in the middle right where people are. And it could be a completely different language of what the outward mask is saying. And I've had people, kind of yell at me. But yet the middle voice, the real voice, would be saying, help me. And it's like, okay. So believe it or not, Spirit keeps trying to show us how to help the human equation constantly. But we are, as humans, highly reactive.
Yep.
And so, therefore, I know this term is used a lot, self-regulation, but for me, it's more about serious self-awareness and having tools or gems in your treasure trove to pull out when you pay attention and notice something that's off kilter. Because our physical body will give us that sensation that something is off. Could
Mm-hmm.
be us, could be a situation, could be the environment, could be a whole bunch of different things. We don't know. But the fact that something's off is enough to take a pause. So going back to uncover that trauma of a very serious suppressed memory of somebody trying to choke you as a teenager, that goes right down into your cells. And so yes, there's many techniques, and my major focus is the life force energy, the breath, to move the energy for those situations. But I'll tell you, hypnotherapy is so powerful to first go there to give a different story in order to release that, because that's an imprisonment and it colors everything that happens from that moment on, even when we don't recognize it's going on.
Yes.
So, having asked the question, how can I help you? Or what can I do to help you? Is an extremely powerful, actually warrior position to take. Because people misunderstand a warrior. We're not the fighter that goes out deliberately looking for a fight, battle, and wars. We're actually the guardians and peacemakers. However, if it gets to the point, then we're a force to be reckoned with, and you don't really want to go there.
Very true. Very true.
A lot of people don't like to say that because it's not all bliss. It just
No,
isn't. Life is not all bliss,
exactly.
but it's how we embrace life and how we build up recognition of our behavior patterns, our speak, our thought life. Very important because that's where it all first starts coming through. Like you were talking about the power of the mind.
Mm.
Extremely important, but seriously underrated in mainstream. But I really believe we're coming into a new era, which is also an ancient era, all at the same time.
We're returning. We're returning is the way I like to look at it.
We're returning, but we have more elements involved in this return
More growth. That makes
at the
sense.
same time.
Yeah.
So it's as difficult as things may seem. At the same time, it is a magnificent time to be here, and we already signed a contract to be here to help anyway. So here we are, you know.
Might as well enjoy the ride while it's there.
Exactly. And it's like, well, what am I supposed to do? You want me to do what? That used to come up a great deal with me.
Yeah.
That was my take when they wouldn't leave me alone. You want me to do what? Are you kidding me? Go away. You get the wrong person. Um, but over time and their persistence and my ability to be more flexible and lower my guard, be more discerning, use caution instead of fear. These combinations make such a huge difference. And of
Very.
course, this is how I like to empower people. And when they're ready, they will find me. Because if they're not ready, they can't accept the shifts yet. And like ourselves, there are so many different things that we did and practices that we were brought into to prepare us to be where we are now to help the people that we can help now. It's all a process.
Yes, I agree.
You
We'll
know,
never
and
have the answers completely, but we can always be 2 or 3 steps ahead of the people that we help. I look at it, I look as I'm a guide. I'm not a leader. I'm a guide. That's part of the path walker aspect. Is I help guide people on their path and then let them go walk their own path and I walk mine.
oh, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, it's not about having a following. It's about empowering them so they can help others.
Exactly.
Very different, ideology for a lot of people, because we don't want to create a codependence. We want to create an empowerment instead. It's just like, at Super Camp, which I've spent decades at every year. Um, People from all over the world would come, not even speak our languages, whatever. So we were always a hot mix. And sometimes people would get so out of control. They'd be yelling and screaming. But in that environment, because it was safe, we'd just walk around. Oh, they're just processing. It's like there was such a freedom to that.
Hmm.
And that's what I hope to continue to bring to people, as I know yourself.
Yes,
And in the digital world, when it comes to the media, which can fry your brain quite quickly, that's how Colleen is this wonderful anchor. Because it's part of what the life is now, but not to take us over.
hmm
Well, this is fun.
it has been fun. Thank you very much for the invite. I appreciate it.
Oh, well, you are so very welcome. And I really wanted people to start to hear a little bit about, okay, so Pathwalker, Path Guide, what does that all mean? And it's a non-intrusive way to help people really find their soul's purpose.
I agree.
So it's not influencing them like, unfortunately, a lot of things are like out there. It is to help them build their intuition and discernment, as do I. Different methods, same
Same
core.
path. There's many paths up a mountain, but the views at the top is the same.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And four nations, with so many things of what they have shown me through the years, Apache, Lakota, Abenaki, a few others in there. It is all about that. And they do say choose which path, the difficult path or the beautiful path.
Mm.
It's our choice. Now, the beautiful path does not mean all rainbows and sunshine, but it means how we work with the things that happen that go on. And so the first time I was ever told that, I honestly didn't know we had a choice. I really didn't.
Hmm.
And so I was very fortunate um, for an Apache shaman to come up to me on day off on Sufi camp and invite me to a very sacred sweat lodge ceremony many years ago, many decades ago. But that also helped put me on a clearer path. And so it is, in my position, very important to help bring the clarity to their being so they can start embracing and start feeling and understand that they're just not this human that's here. We are so much greater and we have so many gifts. Everybody does,
Hmm.
but not if we shut off from it. So we help try to reconnect them different ways.
And I like you pointed out, it is a choice. Yeah,
It
it's
is
like in
choice.
between each breath, in between each action or reaction, we choose how to go forward, and that's what determines which path we walk on, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And once we make the choice, we then must take action.
Aligned action, yes.
Aligned action. I like that. Thank you for that quality. It's very true. The action must be aligned, or you're going to just skew everything around again. And that's not the goal. So, Steve, I know you've got this gorgeous website up that I
Hmm.
just got a chance to see a little bit. I know you have things coming down the pike. for you. And when you're ready, we're going to love to have you come back for our show of holistic health on topic. That's where we go 60 minutes deep into what the field is, what it can do for your life. Obviously, no matter what we do, whether people understand it or not, impacts our entire whole being.
Mm.
And so we like to take segments out so people can understand that and see, and then get ways how to function with something different because, you know, Albert Einstein has always said that if you want to make the change, you can't do it with the same conscious method that created the problem,
Right.
aka insanity.
Insanity.
Keep
Yep.
doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Yeah, it doesn't happen. So we will love to have you come back on with us during that time. It will be
That would be great.
wonderful. And congratulations being a grandfather and to your daughter and obviously the rest of the family. It's a
Yes, everyone
very
is.
precious time.
It was really nice going up in the hospital and seeing his family there as well, and just the love that was being poured into this child. It was beautiful to see.
A very special, precious time. And thank you for sharing it with us, all of us. And
Hmm.
so,
Hmm.
whether you were here with us live today or you get to see the replay at any certain point, know that there's always a transmission that comes with every show. That's kind of the back energy field that comes to you, whether it's the exact words that you hear or if it's just a feeling or sensation that happens in your body. We're here to help start to shift your energy so you can move forward. With that, I'm going to wish you the most blessed, beautiful weekend. And thank you again for gracing us with your presence and your gorgeous light and energy, and for our audience. And we will see you very soon. And
Thank you.
thank you to our co pilot, because if anything goes askew, Colleen's there to handle it for us.
Absolutely.
Until then, I'm sending you off with very much love and so many blessings. And everyone else, thank you for being with us, and God bless.